This is 27 Eyewitness News with Paul Pittis, Patty Lowe, meteorologist Brian Albrecht, and sports with Jay Wilson.
Hello, everyone. More startling revelations and an apology from Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North today.
ABC's Vic Ratner reports on day 2 of North's testimony in the Iran-Contra hearings.
In a day of high drama, the question of Oliver North's personal conduct dominated the hearings. North admitted and apologized for allowing Iran arms sales money to be used to pay for a $14,000 security system for his home.
I did probably the grossest misjudgment that I've made in my life. I then tried to paper over that whole thing by sending 2 phony documents back to Mr. Robinette.
North explained he'd been marked for assassination by the terrorist Abu Nidal and was unable to get government protection for his wife and 4 children.
I'll be glad to meet Abu Nidal on equal terms anywhere in the world. Okay? There's an even deal for him. But I am not willing to have my wife and my 4 children meet Abu Nidal or his organization on his terms.
North denied using Contra Fund traveler's checks to pay for personal items, except to pay himself back for his own cash spent on secret government missions. He freely admitted diverting money from the Iran arms sales to the Contras after the late CIA chief William Casey and others suggested it.
I saw that idea of using the Ayatollah Khomeini's money to support the Nicaraguan freedom fighters as a good one. I still do.
House Counsel John Niels insisted it wasn't the Ayatollah's money. It was the government's money that North was diverting. But North disagreed. And North admitted when the affair became public, he shredded all the documents he could find and told his boss, National Security Advisor John Poindexter, he was ready to take the fall. But he was stunned at the way things turned out.
I never in my wildest dreams or nightmares envisioned that we would end up with criminal charges. It was beyond my wildest comprehension.
Vic Ratner, ABC News at the Capitol.
In India, the violence continues between Sikhs and Hindus. Last night, 72 Hindus were killed by Sikh terrorists in a bus massacre near Fatehabad. That set off rioting in a number of Indian cities. Today, Hindu mobs killed 5 Sikhs and injured another 87 in retaliation. The army is on full alert in North India. The opposition party has called for a protest strike tomorrow. The reforms continue in South Korea. Today, the government announced a broad amnesty affecting some 2,300 dissidents. The pardon covers people convicted of anti-government activities going back to the 1970s. Government officials say the amnesty is designed to promote national reconciliation.
35-year-old Alfred Sharp is expected to be formally charged with first-degree murder tomorrow, but there's a chance he may not be alone. Authorities say Sharp fatally stabbed 35-year-old Richard Webb in this house on Corey Street yesterday. But because of Webb's heavy beard, a second fatal wound, a gunshot, was not discovered until this morning's autopsy.
The entry wound was in the chin area here and proceeded into the neck and caused his death. The death was probably instantaneous. By that I mean he died within a minute or 2.
Police aren't sure if Sharp used the gun, which also wounded another man, 30-year-old Larry Campau. The case is complicated because up to 4 people may have been in the house when the murder took place. They were reportedly arguing over a drug transaction and living accommodations. Police are continuing their investigation and hope to have more information tomorrow. Authorities continue to search for the missing member of a murdered family in the town of Athens. 70-year-old Helen Kunz has not been seen since Saturday night, just before her brother, 2 sisters, and son were shot to death. An Athens businessman says he sold the missing woman some ammunition about a month ago. He said she was angry because her family was watching pornographic movies.
3 people are dead following a traffic accident on I-90 near Milton this morning. 2 of the victims were 8 and 12-year-olds from Batavia, Illinois. The other victim was a 72-year-old Ohio woman. Authorities say the driver of the car was attempting to pass a westbound semi-trailer. The truck also moved into the left lane to pass another vehicle. That forced the car into the eastbound lane, striking a pickup truck pulling a large trailer. Former Wisconsin Congressman Alvin Okonski is dead at the age of 83. The Republican represented northern Wisconsin for 30 years until losing an election in 1973. Okonski had suffered a heart ailment.
The State Justice Department has filed a fourth deceptive advertising suit in a crackdown on vacation scams. Named in the suit is Chicago-based credit card travel services doing business as Bank Card Travel Club. The state accuses the operation of billing consumers a $50 membership fee to enter a drawing for a free Hawaiian vacation. The company allegedly refuses to refund that fee. The state committee that's been organized to set up regulations for gambling is giving a thumbs up to the private sector. Committee members say the job of awarding lottery permits in the state should be given to a private contractor. One senator says lawmakers would open themselves to possible kickbacks if they awarded the permits. The panel has proposed allocating nearly half the revenues for prize money. Patty?
Middleton's economic battery is recharged by Rayovac. A new Rayovac distribution center will be built in Middleton's industrial park. Middleton was selected because of its strategic location for Rayovac, and company officials say it provides the greatest space for expansion. The new center means more jobs and a $2.5 million boost to the city's tax roll.
Employ 25 full-time employees and an additional 15 employees during the peak seasons of June through December. We hope to begin construction in August, and we have a completion date of April 1988.
And construction on the new center will begin next month and should be completed by April. And still to come, Brian says, a stormy night.
Ooh, in sports, Mark McDowell shines in the national spotlight.
But first, it's being called the chance of a lifetime for some cancer patients. That story when we come back.
Tonight's news is brought to you by American Family Insurance. All of your family protection under one roof.
The Area Red Cross is reaching out in an effort to give people with blood-related diseases a chance of a lifetime.
It's linking up with cities across the nation in what can be called simply a bone marrow network. Jamie Ullman explains.
For most people, leukemia amounts to nothing more than a death sentence. Occasional reprieves, like chemotherapy, merely delay the inevitable. The most reliable cure is a bone marrow transplant, but the problem is it's incredibly hard to find. Victims must have a relative whose marrow matches or they're doomed. The chances of finding an unrelated donor are slim. But there's a big breakthrough tonight, and the local Red Cross is part of it. It's a nationwide bone marrow donor registry. Another shot at survival.
This is going to be a big step forward because before these people didn't have anybody to donate bone marrow for them if they had no siblings or family members to do this. Now they're finding that unrelated people can have the same HLA type match as these people who do not have any relatives.
The Red Cross hopes to have as many as 50,000 people online as possible bone marrow donors.
We need so many people because chances of matching are like 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 20,000 people.
It's a big process. Donors will more than likely be people who have given blood before. And once they consent, an extra batch is tested and ID'd for marrow characteristics. On it goes to the nationwide computer line, and when someone needs a transplant, the registry is activated and the fingers are crossed. Sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. Hope is what this program is really all about.
It's going to be offering people a lot more hope than what they've had before.
J.B. Allman, 27 Eyewitness News.
Well, they came to Madison to discuss methods of boosting milk production. They ended up with more talk than they'd planned on. About 150 participants in a seminar on bovine growth hormone today found discussion was not to be limited to the conference room. A group of protesters gathered outside the Holiday Inn Southeast this afternoon to provide what it calls an alternative view of the subject.
Milk is touted as a natural product, is it not? And this is making it more and more unnatural. I think people are beginning to feel that chemistry is under a cloud.
What about pregnant nursing mothers? What about babies? What tests have shown that this is not affecting them?
Companies manufacturing the hormone today assured the activists and others at the conference the treatment presents no risk to humans. Federal regulators are currently studying the hormone's effects on the cows themselves.
A team of state officials is trying to assess the extent of the drought in northern Wisconsin tonight. Governor Thompson is relying on government specialists to help him plot a course of action. The team is meeting with farmers and ag officials in Barron, Burnett, Polk, Rusk, Sawyer, and Washburn counties. Farmers in those parched areas have been without substantial rainfall for months. Their first hay harvest yielded only a fifth of a normal crop. That's causing some cattle in the area to go without adequate feed. The fact-finding team is expected to report back to the governor later on this week. Any relief for those folks?
Well, there's rain down here tonight,
Right.
But as we get toward the weekend, there'll be more of the rain shifting back to the north. They had some earlier in the week, so relief, but probably not in time for many.
Good evening, everyone. We have some thunderstorms rumbling into parts of Wisconsin, mainly to the west and south, the city of Madison. Earlier, severe weather was a problem in Iowa, but now late this evening, the thunderstorm intensities died down a little bit. I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about severe weather, but some rainfall will be coming our way. We'll have showers and thunder showers in the area through a good part of the night. Well, today we had sunshine through most of the day, and through the evening, things stayed pretty dry. High of 89 degrees. This morning's low was a rather sultry 63, so we're above normal by about 6 degrees on both accounts. And no rainfall just yet. The sun will be rising at 5:25 tomorrow morning. Currently partly cloudy and 78 degrees. And on the radar, we can see where the rain is at the present time. One thunder shower is at the current in extreme northwestern Greene County at the present time, Lafayette County, the south central part, and also northwestern Lafayette, just to the west of Darlington, up into Iowa County, just to the west of Dodgeville. More showers in northern parts of Richland County, back into Vernon, and up toward La Crosse County at the present time. Another thunder shower brewing up in the Grant County area, just north of Dubuque. Movement generally toward the northeast at about 20 miles per hour, so they're crawling along. So as they move slowly, they will deposit some pretty healthy rainfall totals, and more showers and thunderstorms back in northern Iowa will be coming across our area throughout the night. So it does look like we have some occasional rain to contend with, but really that's not too bad of news over the next several hours. On the scene across the upper Midwest, it's all part of a big band of showers and thunderstorms extending from southwest Wisconsin, northeast Iowa, back into southern Minnesota. Pretty general rain across the southern portion of the Gopher State at the present time. This activity will be spreading eastward across about the southern half of Wisconsin. Drier air in the northern parts of the state will likely be keeping them dry for the nighttime hours tonight. Other heavier thunderstorms down in parts of central Illinois and central Missouri, back into Kansas and all the way out into the western plains of western Kansas and eastern Colorado. So it does look as if we do have some rainy weather on our way for the nighttime hours. Lots of clouds, obviously, associated with that into southwest Wisconsin, northeast Iowa, and back into Minnesota. Partly cloudy skies still dominating the central and eastern portion of the state. A lot of moisture coming from the Gulf of Mexico up into the midsection of the country. A general southerly airflow right from Texas and Louisiana up the Mississippi Valley, providing the very humid conditions that we had today. There is a frontal system that's extending now into Iowa into a very weak low-pressure area moving toward the northeast, and that's providing the punch that's producing the showers and storms. And as it slowly moves across our area, that's what will produce the rainy weather tonight. High pressure to the north of Minnesota did dry things out. Dew points just in the 50s, so much less humid weather over the northern part of the state today, but the heat and humidity will spread back across the entire area as more of that hot, sticky weather continues to surge up from the south, then dominate our weather right on into the weekend. Temperature-wise, we're at 78 degrees, 79 still at Wausau, 81 degrees at La Crosse, so still some very, very warm temperatures for this time of the night. Hot spot 84 degrees at Chicago, some cooler weather up near Lake Superior, just in the 60s, 66 degrees at Marquette, Michigan, 68 at Duluth and Superior. Looking on toward tomorrow, we do have very warm, sticky weather coming our way. Showers and thunderstorms will be breaking out again in the afternoon, especially scattered showers in the northern parts of the state, so that should help to relieve some of the drought conditions up there, and a lot of sunshine back to the west of us. Probably not going to make it here. For tonight, we'll have showers and thunderstorms moving through the area, low 65. Tomorrow, it's going to be warm and humid with a chance for more afternoon storms, a high of 86. Then on Friday, partly cloudy, hot and humid, high around 90. So more of the same on the way.
Okay.
More steamy weather. Thank you, Brian.
Coming up in sports, bowler Mark McDowell is in the national spotlight in Tucson.
And in Milwaukee, the Brewers look for a diamond in the rough. Jay Wilson has details next. Some excellent bowling in Tucson, Arizona tonight.
You know, but it's been over 100 degrees, 32 straight days in Tucson.
He was hot.
And the bowling was just as hot tonight. Manona's Mark McDowell has been on the TV finals twice before, but tonight was his first appearance in 1987. He faced Marshall Holman in the first match tonight at the Miller Lite Challenge in Tucson, Arizona, and McDowell decked out in his Green Bay Packer colors. He comes out charging against Holman. McDowell 3 strikes in the first 4 frames, and Holman has trouble all match long. Here's his 5th frame. Looks easy enough, but he chops the 2-pin. McDowell strings 6 strikes together to finish off Holman, 266, 198 in match 1. Next up is Tom Baker. This one isn't even close. Baker struggles. McDowell gets some good fortune here. 234, 198 for McDowell. He beats Hugh Miller in the semifinals. Then it's a shootout against Scott Devers in the final. Devers with a huge strike here in the 9th puts the pressure on McDowell, and you see what he needs in the 10th frame for the win. Here's his first ball. Right through the heart. But he doesn't get it. Devers wins 234, 206. And here's how they stack up. Devers beats McDowell, Hugh Miller, Tom Baker 4th, and Marshall Holman 5th. Good tournament for Mark McDowell. Meanwhile, in baseball, the Brewers are hoping to salvage one of their 3 games in Seattle tonight. Ted Higuera on the mound for Milwaukee right now in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's Seattle nothing and Milwaukee nothing. Tomorrow the Brewers move on to Oakland. Back home in Milwaukee, the Brewers were looking for a diamond in the rough this afternoon. They held their final tryout camp for 150 players, ages 16 to 21. Odds are there won't be a future major leaguer here, but you never know.
Signed, I think, 7 kids in 8 years. And last year we signed Steve Kostichka from Green Bay, who played with the Green Bay Blue Ribbons, and he came to our camp here, and we signed him 2 weeks later. The kids have a chance. The odds may be against them, but they do have a chance. The main thing is for them to relax and to get a good workout in and learn a little bit about baseball.
Well, one guy apparently was a little miffed about not getting a tryout today, but this skunk left his calling card all over County Stadium as he strolled the grounds. It was a real stinker for the Minnesota Twins today, 13-4, the Yankees win. Detroit beat Oakland 9-5, Baltimore over the White Sox, Kansas City leading Cleveland, Toronto has defeated Texas, Boston and California late starter in Anaheim. National League, Cubs beat San Diego. The Cardinals looking for a sweep of the Dodgers. Philadelphia beat Cincinnati 7-2, San Francisco, Pittsburgh in extra innings. Atlanta beat the Mets. And Montreal, behind a 1-hitter by Floyd Yeomans, beats Houston. The Madison Muskies losing tonight at Springfield 13-4. No Brewers in the starting lineup for next week's Major League All-Star game in Oakland, but look for Dan Plesac to be named to the pitching staff tomorrow. Here's how they shape up via the fan balloting. The American League starters, 4 Yankees, Mattingly, Randolph, Ripken, and Boggs making up the infield starters, and in the outfield, Winfield, Henderson, Bell, and Terry Kennedy, the catcher from the Baltimore Orioles. National League starters, Jack Clark, Ryan Sandberg, who's injured, Ozzie Smith, Mike Schmidt, who is injured, and the outfield, Strawberry, Dawson, Davis, and the catcher, Gary Carter from the New York Mets. 150 junior golfers took to the Yahara Hills course today for the first round of the Pepsi Junior Golf Series. The highlight of the day, a hole-in-one by Brad Gempler on West number 4. Top scores today, 72, Chad Sprecher, and boys 15 and 16. Mary Sipla's 84, and girls 15 to 18. The junior golfers will continue the series at Odana on July 15th. And Monona on July 22nd. And a softball score. The Cowboys won tonight.
All right.
13-8 over the Echo Tavern.
Go
Our
Cowboys.
station softball team, by the way.
That's right. WKOW Cowboys. Right.
Congratulations.
Up next, a special appearance on John Stofflet's Back Pages. Stay with us.
You'll hold her hand and she'll hold yours, and that's a very good sign that she'll be your touch, she would she, in the good old summer.
Tiny Tim's career bloomed because of the tulips he tiptoed through in 1968. We haven't heard much from him since then.
But Back Pages reporter John Stofflet found Tiny Tim performing at a circus in Janesville last night.
As John shows us, Tiny Tim is still one of a kind.
In many ways, Tiny Tim hasn't changed much since 1968. He still has shoulder-length hair, although he dyes it redwood brown now. His voice certainly hasn't changed. And the song Tiptoe Through the Tulips is still his bread and butter. But it's not the stage of the Ed Sullivan Show or Laugh-In Tiny Tim's performing on these days. It's the center ring of the Great American Circus.
I am the last, or the first, really. I'm the first named singer ever to sing with a circus.
And he's the only singer with a voice quite like that.
How would you describe your voice? It's like the dollar floating. I mean, it's sometimes it's there, some days it's somewhere else.
We haven't been hearing much of that voice since the 60s, despite Tiny Tim's attempts to make a comeback. There was the flop attempt at a second hit in 1974 called
My Nose Always Gets in the Way. When I hear the sleigh bells ring.
A Tiny Tim Christmas song. and the infamous kazoo concert in Cleveland. But in 1985, Tiny Tim landed the contract with the circus.
So other has-beens beside myself, like Pat Boone, can now join the circus and make a comeback in their careers.
Yes, Tiny Tim admits he's a has-been, but he's not giving up. He says traveling to 250 towns over 37 weeks has allowed him to meet and sing for thousands and to plant the seeds for a tiptoe back to the top.
These are the kids of tomorrow. If I have a hit tomorrow, I would definitely be back on top. Another 20 years.
But in the meantime, Tiny Tim is content to share a bill with dancing dogs and twirling acrobats, hoping his career will once again soar as high as his falsetto. I'm John Stofflet, and that's Back Pages.
Ooh, let's hope he's not singing while the high wire act is on.
That's right. Forecast for tomorrow morning.
Well, tonight we'll have showers. Tomorrow morning it should be drying up again. Hazy and humid. Another sticky morning in the low 70s.
Same-o, same-o. Stay tuned for Nightline at 11:30 tonight. Ted Koppel has day 2 of Oliver North's revealing testimony at the Iran-Contra hearing. That's our show tonight. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.
Tonight's news has been brought to you by American Family Insurance for your auto, home, business, health, and life.